Hi, this is Carrie Brownstein.
This is DJ Premier.
This is Darren Aronofsky.
You got the RZA right here.
Rose McGowan.
Radiohead.
Aisha Tyler.
Tribe Called Quest. Fred Armisen.
Fritz Paul.
Javier Munoz. Seth Meyers.
Frankie Cosmos.
Flying Lotus.
Hi, we're Chaim, and you're listening to the Talkhouse Podcast. Ow!
Hello and welcome to the Talkhouse Podcast. I'm Josh Modell. On this week's episode, we've got two women who lead fierce, fantastic rock bands, Carly Hartzman and Marisa Dabice. Now, Hartzman is the driving force behind the band Wednesday, which started as a soloish vehicle for her songs back in 2017, but has blossomed into a full band with an already sizable catalog. Everything they've done is worth checking out, but it sure feels like Wednesday hit exactly what they'd always been striving for on the album Rat Saw God, which came out earlier this year. Hartzman's lyrics are both pointed and poetic, amazing in their specificity, and delivered with some serious passion, whether in a countryish moment or one that feels almost metal. Today's other guest, Marisa Dabice, thinks Wednesday sounds like Black Sabbath meets Sparkle Horse, which is both accurate and something that's probably never been said about any band before. Check out a little bit of Bull Believer from Rat Saw God right here. Now, Marisa Dabice is the voice behind Mannequin Pussy, a band that's been releasing blistering music since 2010. Just this week, Mannequin Pussy announced the release of their long-awaited fourth album, I Got Heaven, which will come out in March of 2024. Hartzman, as you'll hear in this conversation, has already gotten a listen to the record, which was produced with John Congleton, and she loves it. The title track is already getting rave reviews for taking Mannequin Pussy's intense punk energy and adding a bit of sweetness with some synths and a sugary chorus, but those aspects almost make it sound even more confrontational in a way. In any case, it's awesome. Check out a little bit of the title track from I Got Heaven right here. In this chat, these two friends talk about touring and specifically about how unusual it can feel to perform and how that can lead to actual tears on stage. Not the most fun experience. They chat about the difference between Mannequin Pussy and Wednesday fans and about the pressure to enjoy your success while it's happening. Oh, and about saunas. You gotta love a sauna. Enjoy.
Are you at home right now?
No, it looks like it though, right? Yeah, I'm actually in a pretty fancy room. I'm at an Airbnb in, I think I'm in Columbus. I'm in Columbus right now.
Yeah.
Well, we were in a position where we could be in the same place for 2 nights. So we're like, let's do an Airbnb. Let's get some doors we can close. So it's actually kind of a nice treat after weeks of hotels.
The last time I did one of these, Katie from Waxahachie was interviewing me, and I was on tour, and I was so tired, but there was so much I could talk about because tour is crazy. And so you got through all your deserty, crazy dates and stuff that there's the really long drives and stuff, or are you still kind of waking up at 6:30 sometimes?
Yeah, we're still waking up at 6:30.
Yeah.
It sucks. I wish I had a more elegant way to say it sucks. But this, and I feel so dramatic too for all the tours I've been on. I'm like, this is the hardest one I've ever done.
I mean, following a tour bus is crazy when you're driving yourself.
My thing in the industry that I want to change so badly is just the idea that any band should be doing Denver and Salt Lake City back to back.
Yeah.
I feel like the industry standard needs to be a day off between those drives just for safety and wellness, or just for the ability to continue on, because it's such a dangerous drive.
Some people probably just don't care or whatever, just aren't thinking about the people who are driving themselves or whatever. Yeah.
It's very scary. But hey, we're out here, we're living, we're waking up early. Not today. I got to wake up at 11 today. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. Yay.
Where are you now?
I'm at my parents' house.
Oh.
Yeah.
I heard a beautiful bird chirping.
Yeah. So we have 3 weeks off for the first time in a year. So I'm I'm going to be a baby and not do any grocery shopping and just go to my parents' house for at least a week. And then, my friend's getting married. So I'm going to go to his bachelor party and smoke a bunch of weed.
Hot.
Yeah. I come here a lot when I need to come down off of a tour.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to kind of regress in a healthy way a little bit just to kind of take care of yourself. I was thinking about that yesterday, actually, about how all my good habits that I work on really hard to develop when I'm home, just immediately, I find it so difficult to sustain as soon as I'm on a tour like this again.
Yeah, it's impossible. I mean, especially if you like say get into like drinking like a green juice every morning. Like you can't bring your vegetables on tour or something. And you can do it every day at home and feel so good. And then immediately you just feel like absolute shit because you're doing something really healthy every day and suddenly you're just not.
Even like meditating. It's like if I'm like going to meditate in the morning, it's like I'm now meditating around 7 other energies instead of like closing myself off for, 20 minutes. But I can't complain too hard because this is what we've chosen.
I don't like to think of it as complaining as much as just venting because I feel like there's only so many people you can talk to that understand. Like, I've never been able to do therapy because it's so hard to explain all this stuff that we have to deal with to a therapist.
Same.
Because you have to know so much context for everything that we deal with. And if your therapist isn't a touring musician, it's like, how would they ever know?
I do have a friend who used to be a touring musician who then went to become a licensed therapist. So when they have their license, maybe I'll start.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. I do like stretching in the morning on tour. That's the only thing I can really do because otherwise I'm in so much pain. And then I'll get like a massage on a day off when I can.
I do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't like really drink anymore either because my body just can't accept alcohol. Like just my taste buds changed or something. It feels like it turns to sour in my mouth. And I just was like, I think this is my body's way of just saying, hey, we're just going to reject this for now.
I went through a thing with that like right after COVID, kind of when we started playing again. I was like, I can't drink at all. But it wasn't because of the taste. It was because I would get immediately like sick. Like my body would just get like sick in the morning, like from even a beer, 2 beers. And I just recently started to be able to drink again, which is not great. It's like a huge crutch for a lot of musicians, but I don't drink at all at home.
Yeah, very rarely will I. And I don't drink at all before I play a show. I can't be so loose that I mess up.
Well, you move a lot more on stage than I do, I think.
That's honestly like one of the things about going guitarless that I enjoy so much. Because you play guitar throughout the set, right?
Yes. Yeah, I never take it off unless I'm switching guitars.
Have you ever had the desire to be like, in Mannequin Pussy universe, we call it going unleashed?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, it sounds awesome. And I appreciate when other people do it. There's one song we do where I don't play guitar until the end. So I need my guitar on, but I don't have to like touch it. And I never know what to do. Sometimes I'll just like walk over to people and stuff. But something about being on stage and performing sometimes makes me feel like I don't own my own body. And I'm like it's a performance. And so like in my normal life, sometimes I've become more dissociative because I feel like my body doesn't belong to myself. I know we were talking kind of about how stage persona is so different than actual persona, but yeah, like what is your relationship with your physical body like and performing, I guess is the question.
My background when I was growing up was I did ballet for like 13 years. I think I did ballet from the ages of like 3 to 15 or 16.
Whoa.
Maybe. So I feel like I was really trained kind of in the art of how you use your body as this vessel that is supposed to show emotion. Because, like in ballet, you're not using your voice or an instrument to give out an emotion. You're using your body to show an emotion and the way that you use it. So I really felt like a lot of like my stage training really came from my experience with ballet and just learning how to use your body in ways that maybe propel the emotion of something. But then like rock and roll and like punk music is also very different in the way that you use your body in ballet. So in a way where I felt like when I was doing ballet, I was so in my head, like so aware of every movement because it's so choreographed. It has to be so perfect. And then now I feel like I'm both so aware and so out of body at the same time, where I really am no longer aware of like what my body is doing, where sometimes I feel like I'm even like dancing off time or like off rhythm because I'm just like, I'm so in the moment of my own movements. But yeah, I feel like I had like an early cheat code for like how to use my body on stage and how to have that kind of comfort come out.
That's interesting because I grew up dancing, but I stopped before I can even really remember what it felt like. I don't remember what it felt like to be good at dancing. I remember lyrical was the big thing at the time. I guess it was like modern / like, I don't know, it was all very basic, maybe jazz dancing. We did this dance that was considered like lyrical or modern. It was more just like in the song playing was, you're Christian, right? You grew up Christian, or did you?
I did grow up Christian, yeah.
Okay, so the song was like, it was a song, I don't know what it's called, but it was like, come to Jesus, na 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 na.
Oh, so this is like a Christian dance group.
It wasn't. That was just how, that's what the South is. It doesn't matter. And we were dancing on a huge cross. It was a huge sideways cross. That's the one I most remember.
Have you ever seen Drop Dead Gorgeous?
Yes. Yeah.
It's kind of, what you're describing almost feels like a pageant to me.
Yes. It felt like that. I had a friend who did that and I was kind of jealous because it seemed like you're actually like, I don't know, like learning technique and stuff. And I feel like it was more expressive or just like purely expressive and less training what I was doing. Anyway, I feel like I would like to get more in touch with my physical body on stage because I literally just sometimes imagine I am like the song and it gets really heady and then it leads to me feeling kind of discombobulated outside of me, like in my actual life. Maybe I think I might just deal with dissociation regardless, but I'm like on stage I just feel like I am the emotion I'm singing about.
Yeah.
And then it just gets really confusing sometimes. It's hard.
Have you ever cried on stage?
Yeah, I had one really infamous show. Well, infamous to me, you know how it is. But that everyone that was at the show probably didn't realize how intense it was. But in my mind, I didn't want to be crying. Sometimes it feels good to cry. But when you're crying against your will on stage, it really sucks. And we were doing a tour with They're Getting a Body of Water. And it was our first sold out show in Boston in the hardcore stadium. And the pressure of having a sold-out show was a lot because I was like, I can't believe all these people are here for us. And during Bull Believer, it was also kind of near the anniversary of the event I was thinking about. It was just too much. And I got home and I'm like, I need to get on an anxiety medication. And I've been on medication since then. And I've cried a few more times on stage, but it hasn't been anywhere near as bad.
We had a really intense show earlier in this tour. And Bear loves Wednesday so much. Like we all are like big Wednesday fans of Mannequin Pussy, but Bear was the one who kind of like got us all turned on to it. Mm-hmm. He put on your album in the van, and eventually we were like, "Who is this?" You know, like that thing. And he's like, "This is Wednesday. Yeah. I keep telling you guys." Like, oh, we love this. Yeah. But he put on Bull Believer specifically after we played the show where I had something had happened, and like it was like the biggest show we had ever played. I think there was like almost like 5,000 people there and it was like sold out and all these like emotional things were going on, and I just played this sold out show, you know, and then I went outside and I just was sobbing like uncontrollably for an hour, and then like just trying to keep it together in the place where I had to. And then we got back into the van to drive away from the show, and then Bear put on Bull Believer, and then as it got to the end, I felt like I was about to start having a panic attack. And I was like, Bear, I need you.
You need to turn it off.
I need you to go to the next song, like right now.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think at first he was like, ha ha. And I was like, no, I'm sobbing and I just need you to go. And so it's interesting that you had that similar kind of like panic to something that you also wrote.
It's funny that the thing these stories have in common is that we're both playing a big show that feels like a hallmark, because there is something so frightening about working really hard and then achieving a goal and being like, this is like, how am I supposed to feel right now? Because when your quote unquote like dreams come true, the pressure is so unimaginable and the pressure to enjoy it is so hard. And That's why I really am so glad I came up or the band came so slow. I'm sure you could relate too. Like, and in small chunks that were easy to accept. Because if we had blown up online and it suddenly went from 0 to 100, I would have lost my fucking mind. Because it's really scary to hit these landmarks because you have to think about how your life goals or whatever, like what it means to, like, I don't know, you keep on having to move your goals, which is scary because you're just like, when does this burn out? Like, when do I reach my goals? And eventually, like, you have to go down, right? And that pressure is really big. And then just like, feeling like the pressure to feel fulfilled from achieving your dreams. I don't know. Yeah. Do you ever think about this?
All the time, Carly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's just, it's same thing for us. Cause it's like, we've been around for a long time, but in like a self-sustaining way, but every year there's been more eyes. Every year there's like been kind of more attention. But I mean, even now it's like, it's been a long time since we put out a record. So I have kind of forgotten what it's like to have like a body of work that might like disappoint people or delight people or it's like it feels so scary because you work in such solitude for so long. You tuck yourself away to make something, and then the nature of what it means to perform is to be so out of your own like body and your own home and your own but like for years on end.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to kind of feel that panic again.
Yeah. We haven't had a big break from like releasing since we started basically, which I kind of appreciate because I think, that pressure would build up if I haven't had to like bare my soul in a new way, like basically every year. I love pop music, but I don't feel fulfilled by sharing something that doesn't feel like I've grown or whatever. And I'm sharing something with the audience. So and I'm sure you do the same thing with your writing. And like, you just have to like figure out how to share that part of yourself with people with the new music.
Yeah, people have asked me, why has it taken you so long to write a new record? And I'm like, just because that's how long it took.
That's a funny question.
Yeah. Not to mention, like, we had the advent of like the pandemic and things kind of like coming to a standstill. And I didn't find that time particularly inspiring. I didn't like create a massive like body of work during that time that maybe was like what people expected of artists, that artists would just be like, all right, now I'm home and I'm going to dig into myself. But I'm just like numb like everyone else.
How do you create when you're like wondering if we're all going to survive?
Yeah, exactly. But now I feel like we're like back on like a rhythm again of now we have a record done and I'm like, I want to already write the other one.
When you offered to send it, I was like, I don't know, should I tell her that I already have it and already have been listening to it? Because I was thinking about messaging you for it. It was crazy. We were in the van driving back from some tour dates, and I was literally about to message you for a link, and then I looked down at my phone and your publicist had sent me like literally the second I thought to ask you. So we listened to it in the van and it fucking rocks. It's so good.
Oh, no, did you do a band listen?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I love, that's some of our favorite stuff to listen to in the van, like friends' new music that they'll send you. Listening to a friend's band that you've played with and know their live set, and you're also like, we're friends, like while you're listening to it is so fun.
Should we tell the people how we met?
Sure, yeah. You can, you take the reins.
We met in Boise, Idaho, because I think we both were slated to play in Boise on the same night. Mm-hmm. And the promoter had the sense to be like, let's just combine these shows. That show was so much fun.
It was. And I was so reinvigorated by that. And we were talking about that a little bit when we saw each other. Also, thank you for like reminding me to explain stuff because I keep forgetting we're doing a podcast.
That's probably what they want, right?
Yeah, we were talking about feeling really creatively challenged and inspired by bands that you're playing with. Like, I knew your performance was going to be so good, and it's just nice to feel challenged and like inspired to do a good set, because it's hard to feel, especially when you do so many dates, you're like, it's hard to feel like I want to do really well. I was kind of telling you this too last time I saw you, just like, I don't know, I really don't want anyone to ever think I'm trying to be friends with them to like climb the ladder or whatever. And so I try to go really slow, and I'm glad it took a second of us kind of meeting and re-meeting. That always feels a little better than just like instant like explosive thing.
I'm really into video games, and I feel like making friends is like the side quest sometimes of tour, where you get like this special moment that isn't about the performance. Because like you were saying, like when your friends are there, or like or you're playing with a band that like really inspires you musically and artistically, you want to bring it. You don't just want to get through it. Like there's a certain point in tour where you have to get through it.
Yeah.
And like you like psyching yourself up. You're like, all right, my body has reached a point that it doesn't feel like it can do this, but I just have to go. And then there's something that like kind of like wakes you back up about getting to be in a space with people who inspire you again. And I felt like that was very true for the MP crew when we played that show in Boise, where it was like everyone loved your record. And I also really felt it like, I felt like the moment all of our two bands like met, it was like very like, it was just like, I don't know, this like excitement. And like, it felt like we had all kind of met before. One thing I noticed about all of your band that I love so much is that you basically, you like all have the same hair.
Yeah.
You all have the most like beautiful brown curly hair. You all look like beautiful baby deer.
It's so funny because that, like, obviously, like, you don't plan for that, but for some reason, we all have this curly brown hair. Alan just shaved his head, and I was like, you traitor. Jake always says he's gonna, like, cut all of his hair off and, like, do all, like, I almost think boys are more, like, funny about changing their hair than girls. Like, he thinks about it so much. He's like, maybe today's the day I'll cut all my hair off. And I'm like, either do it or don't. I don't really care.
Shaving a head for boys is like the equivalent of bangs for girls.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it.
He overthinks it a lot. That's so funny. So wait, you said you're a gamer?
I am a gamer. Yeah, I love it.
Dude, our whole band is gamers as fuck.
I am playing the new Zelda right now.
Nice.
Tears of the Kingdom. Breathtaking,
Nice.
Beautiful. And then I just got a Steam game on my laptop, but this tour's just been so intense that I haven't even had a moment to dive into the refuge fantasy of a game. But I just got into this game called Baldur's Gate that kind of looks like World of Warcraft meets like the Renaissance Fair.
Okay, I think I just saw a video about this because isn't it like everyone's freaking out about it?
I haven't gotten very far, so I can't say very much about it, but I decided to be a mage. It's my favorite thing to be in a Magic. What's the game that you all play?
My taste is so different than the boys because everyone has a Switch. They do Zelda, they do Smash and Mario Kart, and they all have Tetris.
Okay, classics.
But I play all of the like really, and I am not ashamed at all. I play all the like girly as fuck, like farming simulators, and you like those?
Stardew Valley?
I got one called like Fae Farm. That's just like fairy farming, and it's actually like it's mostly just to like erase time in the van because it's actually quite boring. But I was just like, I literally just need something sometimes to like delete a bunch of time, you know? Did you grow up in Philly?
No.
Are you from Philly? Okay.
No, I grew up in Connecticut. So like about 2.5 hours north of Philly. So in that kind of East Coast way where they all kind of have their separate cultures but are very connected and close. So to me, like when I was kind of like coming of age and realizing I really wanted to get into music, I met people who were all living in Philly, and the music scene there was so electric and alive. Like it was that era of everyone having shows in their houses and basements, and like, you know, like when you're a new band and like a proper venue is not going to book you. I feel really lucky to kind of like been able to come up in that scene. And so now I've been in Philly for like 10 years, which is crazy to me. And now I'm like, I think I do want to move somewhere new because I just like, I don't know. I have like such like a spirit of adventure in me. Like as much as I like lament sometimes the constant movement, I also start to really miss it as soon as it's not in my life anymore.
We see so many places that it's hard not to like imagine your life in every city if you were to live there. Me and Jake are going to have to move soon because we're getting kicked out of our house in Nashville because our landlord passed away. And it's going to be too expensive for us to rent or buy there because we kind of have a great situation because we've been there so long, and it's the kind of thing where like the market's totally different, so we can't afford anything now there, so we're gonna move. That's actually why I'm in Greensboro right now, because I'm looking for houses or whatever here. But yeah, North Carolina rocks. There's a great scene here. It's in the middle of everything, kind of in its own little middle, like especially if you want to do more deep south touring, which I think it's my favorite touring because people are so stoked that you're there.
Those are some of my, like, honest, I think in the industry, they call them sea markets.
Yeah.
But those are, like, my favorite places to play because there's such,
same.
like, an appreciation. The energy is, like, still, it's just still there. It's, like, still so, like, alive, and, like, it means a lot to these people who usually get kind of passed over or have to drive hours to get to a show. You know.
Yeah.
Wait, so you grew up in North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm from, here in Greensboro. So I grew up in a sea market. And so seeing shows here can literally, because bands would come through you'd have to seek them out. They came through, but they had the potential to change the course of your life because you were suddenly not having exposure to something. Like, it wasn't around if you didn't put in the work to find it. And so when bands would come here, I mean, it would be life-changing every show. It didn't matter if the band was, like, even just seeing... I didn't really see women consistently on stage until I was in Asheville, actually, for college. And then I was like, okay, wait, maybe I can do this too.
Oh, yeah.
Like pop punk bands or whatever.
You're another late bloomer, right? Because we're both late bloomers in music.
Yeah. I started like junior in college
Yeah, I was like 23 when I started playing.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's such a fun... like thing to hear as someone who wants to play music at that age and hasn't even begun to. I think that's so sick.
People like really don't believe that sometimes. They really think that it's this thing that like if you weren't a child prodigy at the age of 8 picking up the guitar, you can't do it. But it's especially for songwriters, it's like you don't actually need that much prior knowledge before you can start writing a song. I did have a question for you. Are you into Sparkle Horse at all?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because when I was listening to Formula One recently, I felt like I was like Mark Linkous' ghost, or like his spirit was like in that song. Like it really.
That's a huge compliment. Yeah, he passed away really close to where we live, and so I actually know a guy that has some of his like equipment. He just they sold all of his equipment from Knoxville, where he was living. I think it was Knoxville, Tennessee. Like East Tennessee and Western North Carolina are like right up against each other. North Carolina's always kind of had this identity because of Merge Records and other stuff happening here, indie music or otherwise. But yeah, I love Sparkle Horse. Did you hear the new record that just came out?
I did. I just love Sparkle Horse so much. Like I think sometimes the way that like I love Elliott Smith very, very much as well, but to me, like Sparkle Horse kind of also hit that same kind of emotional bone in me that just brings me to a very, like a weepy place.
Oh, yeah. It's so sentimental. Yeah. There's this like documentary that Jake showed me about him that is it's like some sort of German television station like went to his house. Have you seen this? I'll send it to you.
No, I haven't.
It made me I already love Sparkle Horse, but it makes you love him like 40 times more. I'll send it to you. And we made a documentary recently, and I was like, this is what I want it to be reminiscent of. I just want it to be us at our house, like, fucking around.
I want to see this.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's becoming rarer for me to just love any music, which is kind of sad, because, you just hear so much now.
Yeah, I feel like the inside of your brain is all noise, and then you're trying to kind of turn it off. Like, my, Spotify Wrapped is really depressing, because it's all, like, pink noise, white noise, box fan. Like it's so sad. It's like this year you listen to 10,000 minutes of like pink noise.
I have a separate noise machine for our hotel rooms because I snore. Jake snores. I always feel bad for anyone who's in our room when we share in a hotel room.
We're fortunate now. We get 3 hotel rooms a night, which feels like a big come up. But we divide them by snorers. We call it the snoring suite. So, like, if you snore, you, like, have to go into this room together. And then the 3 of us that don't snore, like, share a room.
I think me and Jake are really the only snoring people, which makes us the perfect couple for that reason. But we divide by morning showers and night showers because me and Jake just both take night showers, and as long as we're with someone that doesn't also need a night shower, we can usually get to bed at a reasonable time.
I'm also on team night shower.
Yeah. I can't get into bed after getting all sweaty I'm always just like, why is anyone not taking a shower after all this gross venues are so gross.
They feel a little seedy still.
Yeah, I mean, and I get why. It's a bunch of gross, smelly dudes coming in and out like every day, and it's so sticky. And I'm getting less of that now, but yeah, especially like DIY spaces. Sometimes I love them, can't live without them, but yeah, they can be pretty gross.
Yeah, you guys have been on such a tear. Like, there's only a few bands in my mind right now where, like, it sticks out to me just how heavily they've been touring. Like, I feel, like, relieved, actually, that you're talking to me in a beautiful setting right now. And you're not talking to me on tour. Because if I had seen you, when did we see each other? 2 weeks ago? A week?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Something. Yeah, it gets all fucked up when you tour. But yeah, something like that.
I would have been, like, kind of concerned if I was like, oh, shit, Carly's, like, already out there again.
Yeah, we were really tired. We, like, specifically asked for the month, because we haven't been home when the leaves are changing in a few years. And that's, like, the best time to be in Asheville and North Carolina in general, obviously. Anywhere, really, in your home when the leaves are changing. So we were just like, we are taking October off. And we're going to be gone the back half of the month in Europe, but we got most of October off. I think we're all just in that really weird teetering zone where we're not working other than music because we can't, because but we're also like, we also have to pay our rent, and we're kind of,
because who would hire you?
Yeah, like we aren't salaried yet, so we're really we're really having to work a lot, and we're really tired. But I think in my mind, it's like we do this for another year and slowly take more and more time off, because you gotta survive, obviously, but yeah, we're pretty fucking tired. Yeah, but I'm very intentional about my time home and making sure I go to the sauna and go.
Ooh, me too.
Yeah, do you have a sauna in Philly?
Oh yeah, my gym has a sauna, and then like a sauna opened up on my block, like a special like massage sauna place that I also try to frequent. These things that actually, I was talking to Joe from the band Idols about this. We opened for them a couple months ago, and he and I were chatting, and like saunas came up, and I'm a big sauna enthusiast, and he is as well. And now I'm starting to realize that like a lot of people in music we're like moths to a flame. It just feels so good. He got one installed in his house.
Oh, that's my dream.
That's my dream as well. And you know what?
Yeah.
Not as expensive as one would think.
When you think about it, it's just a heater. It's like a rock heater in a wooden room, like, or a wooden vessel. But yeah, I feel like I like sauna on tour, especially like mid-tour if I can, because I'm eating worse than I normally eat. I feel disgusting. I'm drinking more than I normally drink. So I just want to I want it to get out of my body as quickly as possible. It feels so, and so sometimes like just the quiet is like, and just being in a room where like everyone's supposed to be quiet or kind of in their own zone, sweating.
That's how I started meditating, actually, was because like my gym had a sauna, and then I felt like when I was in the sauna, I felt like I was entering a meditative state and just like feeling so refreshed again. And then I started researching meditation and was like, I think I'm at the point in my life where this makes sense now to try to. Do you meditate at all?
I've never been able to. I've never really tried that hard, though.
I had never like really tried or been trained in it or anything. But then when I was like in this rhythm of trying to get my body in the healthiest, physical form it's been in order to, do like what we do.
Yeah.
Meditation just kind of kept coming up in these weird ways where I feel like my mind started thinking about it. And then I had 3 very, very different conversations with people who all brought up meditating to me. And then like when we were in the studio recording the new album, our producer John Congleton was like started talking. I was talking about something, and he was like, oh, that sounds like a meditation thing. And then he was talking to me about transcendental meditation. So me and Kayleen started doing a transcendental meditation, And I have to say, I happily drink this Kool-Aid now. I feel like it's been like kind of like immediately life-changing. I feel like very like fortified, like I can just like, I can handle anything.
Yeah.
Which is what you need in this kind of life.
I feel like a lot of musicians are on the meditating thing just to deal with all this stuff that we need to deal with. Me and Jake were watching something about Rick Rubin and all the people that he works with, and he's really into meditating and transcendental. Yeah, I would love to get into it. What's your like approach to someone who's like just trying to start out?
Much about other forms of meditation, but what I do like about TM is that it's like something that you have to go study. I like the fact that you find like a center around you, and there's like definitely a center in like Greensboro or Asheville or wherever you are. And you go there in person and you're like trained in this technique. And then it's like sort of like you have a sponsor for life. Like you have a teacher who's available to you anytime. I was actually thinking about hitting up my teacher to be like, I'm having a hard time like balancing how to find this time. I also I'm a very like late sleeper, and sleep is the most like important thing for me on tour. It's like the only self-sustaining thing. So so it's just like, if you look at it is something that like you pay for, like, and it's like a sliding scale. But I like that it's gate kept. I like that like you're not supposed to share the technique or your mantra or these secrets. It's like, it really feels like something that you do for you.
The one thing that's kind of close to meditation I've been able to do, because I guess like I really struggle with getting too heady with just how disconnected I kind of feel. I'm already so like all over the place mental, or I just feel kind of disconnected. So the only way I'm really able to get into like a deeper part of my mind is when I have a physical treatment. So that's why I like acupuncture and stuff like that. I
also do acupuncture.
I need a physical sensation in my body to keep me from like just getting too wrapped up in my own mind and just feeling completely it makes me feel like I'm not a human being.
You feel like music is? Is music like this grounding force for you?
Yes. Yeah. I like performing, not necessarily performing makes me feel kind of like heady, and I love performing. It's really therapeutic, but it gets me feeling kind of weird sometimes. But yeah, writing and playing music like separately is like making anything makes me feel really...
I do have a question for you. Before, I realized recently that on Spotify, Wednesday is now in fans also listen to. That Wednesday shows up under the Mannequin Pussy one, and I was like, you don't say. No way. So I was curious, like, what are like Wednesday fans like?
Oh, like, I actually wanted to ask you this too. Okay, because I noticed. Okay, let me tell you what I noticed about Mannequin Pussy fans first. So in Boise, I was just like, okay, we definitely have two different fan bases, because your fans have a little more, like, I would define your fans more as rabid, but not in a way like they're obsessed with you, but in a way where they're obsessed with the music, which is the best way, like the best kind of rabidity a fan can be, I feel like.
They're extremely respectful.
But they're really cool. They're like really fashionable too, which I always... They have a very different style than Wednesday fans, I think. And Wednesday fans are all over the place right now, because we've done a lot of tours with like bands like Drive-By Truckers that are older and more inclined to like indie rock dudes. So we have like a lot of indie rock dudes, nowhere near as much as Jake's band. Jake's band has a ton of indie rock dudes. But yeah, we have some of those guys, and then we have like younger women. I mean, very white, obviously. It's indie rock. And then we get a lot of jumpers and moshers, which is cool, because a lot of our songs are not moshable, but they find a way, which I think is actually really cool. As long as they're not like killing each other.
You do, though. I feel like you could conduct like a pit, really, if you wanted to, because you have these moments. I realized, like, watching you, that I felt like Wednesday was like if like Black Sabbath and... I can't almost like remember. You have these moments that are so heavy and so like almost like kind of like just like stoner metal-y to me, that like really kind of fit in the like basically like if Sparkle Horse and Black Sabbath had a baby, to me that's how I would describe Wednesday, because like there's like a real pervasive heaviness in like the instrumentation of it that like makes you like want to just like rock out and you know, like I think also something I really love about your band is that it's not just the melodies and the lyrics that get caught in my head, it's also the riffs.
Yeah.
And so I can like totally imagine people just like going off and moshing to a Wednesday set as well.
They find their way to bop around. The long tour we did, I was trying to figure out how when it got too crazy, it was my first time kind of being like, all right, y'all need to like settle down a little bit. But yeah, no, I love Wednesday fans. They're all over the place and demographic, which is cool. But yeah, very appreciative of the words and whatever.
Well, they're telling us we have to wrap it up.
Okay, cool. Well, that's perfect. But anyway, to wrap it up, I will say I think there is a bond and a connection that can be had between a Mannequin Pussy fan and a Wednesday fan, and that's why we're in the related artists, whatever. Because I think both of our fans would, if they don't know the other band, they would love the other band. I think that's an inherent thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially with our next record too, that's going to become a little bit more obvious maybe to people, because I think the next record has a lot more like, I feel like, breadth of sonics to it.
Yeah.
Maybe, whereas like our other stuff was slightly like a little bit more like straightforward, just like kind of punk feeling. Now we're flirting with indie.
Yeah. I mean, it runs the gambit though, which it's such a good record. I can't wait for people to hear it.
I'm so excited. Well, I'll hit you up very soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks so much for doing this with me. I was so excited to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you, Carly. Thanks for thinking of me.
Of course. Good luck with the load-in and the shows and the rest of the tour. Stay safe and take care of yourself.
Thank you. I'm going to try to find a sauna. You inspired me.
Thanks for listening to the Talkhouse Podcast, and thanks to Marisa Dabice and Carly Hartzman for chatting. If you liked what you heard, please follow Talkhouse on your favorite podcasting service and check out all the goodness at talkhouse.com. This episode was produced by Myron Kaplan, and the Talkhouse theme is composed and performed by The Range. See you next time.